Welcome back to another video. So I guess the interesting thing about life is authority. Where are you placing your authority? What are you giving yourself to? What are you giving yourself to? You know? What are you letting dictate you? What are you letting control you? Are you your own authority? I think the vast majority of us, we submit to an authority outside of us. And it can be seen in lots of different kinds of ways. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the sort of social and cultural game that we've been sold. That, you know, we have to be somebody in the world, and we have to do something in the world. We have to be of service, we have to do good. And that seems like something good, you know, that seems like good when you hear it or you see it on paper, like to be someone good, to help people, to serve the world. You know, that sounds good, but where did you get that from? Is that your idea? Have you really sat down to think about that? Have you really sat down for yourself and asked yourself, what do I want? Do I actually truly want to help people, serve the world? To what extent? To what extent is that a selfless pursuit? And to what extent is that a selfish pursuit? Do I want to do that because I want to strengthen this sense of self to make me? Is it just to strengthen this sort of identity to make me look like I'm good? You know, so other things like, you know, the same kind of thing, the social and cultural game. You know, get a job, or, you know, follow your dreams. But what are your dreams? Because a lot of what our dreams are is actually not our own. It's other people's. This, you know, what do we actually want? What do you actually want? A lot of what you think you want is actually what other people want. And this is how you've been brainwashed. And it's because it's hard for you to see a different way of living because you're stuck in this game. You think this game is reality, you know? You can't really see any other way out, you know? So it's like you come out of school and automatically you've got to go get a job and you've got to do all this kind of stuff, and you've got to play by the rules, which you don't really think of the rules, you just think that's how it is, that's reality. And so it's kind of the thing of like, you know, actually you have the free will to abandon this game, to go out in the wilderness and to live like an animal, to build your own house, to hunt your own food, you know. And this is one example, but you see, doing this kind of idea of like, I'm just gonna leave this behind and go on my own. There's another idea coming from this whole social game saying that's like avoidance. You can't be doing that. But that's part of the game, you see. That only exists in that paradigm. I'm not sure if I'm making myself that clear, but what I'm saying is that, society and culture is a paradigm, a way of thinking, a way of living. But you don't actually have to live that way or think that way. But you see, when you think and act differently from the paradigm of the society and culture, you're seen upon as like crazy and different, and like you're doing everything wrong. I'm not sure if I make myself that clear, but anyway, what I'm talking about is authority. Like, we don't realize that we are trapped in this game of society and culture. That we let that dictate how we live, how we think, how we act. And we don't really know another way of living because we're so immersed in the game. But what I'm saying is, like, if you really pull it back and ask yourself what's true, for me, forget everything that you've ever been taught in school, forget all the rules and regulations and laws, forget what anybody tells you. What do you know to be true? And don't base it on anything that you've learned in the past. Find out for yourself now. Be a scientist of your own reality. Don't it's like saying like, is white bread good for me? And you just search up on Google, is white bread good for me? And you'll get answers like, yes, it's alright, no, do not eat it, it's terrible, and whatever else. But it's like, and there's all these scientific claims and backups, and you can make your decision from that. But ultimately, like, if you really want to know what's true, you got to fucking start from scratch. So you've got to fucking have this white piece of bread in your hand and say, what is this in my hand? I'm going to dissect it, It's like, really no one wants to do this because, like, you have to fucking build everything. It's like, you've got to fucking build your own microscope. You've got to fucking understand how that even works. It's like the classic thing of like, oh, I'm gonna cook this meal from scratch. Oh, so what do you mean? You're not just gonna get a ready meal. You're gonna, like, say, buy the potatoes and peel them and whatever. But then it's like, no, that's not from scratch because you didn't grow the potatoes. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna grow the potatoes then. But then it's like, where do you get that original seed? And then it's like, oh, if I'm gonna have to fucking cook from scratch, if I'm gonna cook a meal from scratch, I need to fucking create the whole universe first. So it's this kind of thing, is that no one wants to do this. No one wants to ask what's true for themselves because everyone wants to just piggyback on the last person. Everyone wants to just research what happened in history, what science thinks now. And that's all good to have, it's good to see what other people are up to. But it's not great to just piggyback on them and just to accept what they think to be true is true. You've got to find out for yourself. And it really comes down to, what do you actually care about finding out for yourself? What do you actually care about that's true? What is it that you care about? So yeah, this whole thing of authority. And so yeah, things like, we think it's good to go to university, get a degree, and then you got some piece of paper that tells you that you are this kind of person now. It's like, oh, I've got a PhD. Well, what the fuck does that even mean? You know what I mean? And it's like, who created these whole qualifications for, and like, you see how it's all just kind of mind games, like stemming from the past. Like, you think there are smarter people in the world than you, but they're not. We're all just the fucking same. Each and every one of us is equally clueless to what the fuck is going on here. Yes, people have passions and are more knowledgeable about certain fields of things. Like, there are scientists that know heaps about atoms and whatever. There are cooks that know how to make the fucking best meal ever. Like, yes, everyone has their field of expertise, but that doesn't make anyone better or worse, you know what I mean? And this is what we've got to fucking stop with, is that we think it's like, oh, there's this scientist or there's this doctor. And it's like, fuck, they must be really fucking smart. Fuck, man, they're above me in the hierarchy or whatever. But no, we're all just fucking humans. We're all just fucking clueless apes, not fucking knowing what the fuck's going on here. Like, you're no more important. It's like, oh, I've got the PhD. It's like, good for you, but don't go and fucking flaunt it like, it's who you are. It's just some, like, it doesn't mean anything, you know what I mean? It's just a piece of paper that says words that don't mean a thing. And so who are you giving your authority to? It's like, oh, I'm giving my authority to scientists. Scientists know everything. But how do you know? What is science? You see, science just wasn't around. Science was created. This is what I mean. You don't want to be piggybacking on everything that you think to be true. You've got to question everything. And so, yeah, we give our own power over to the things outside of us. And then we use that to perceive a world based on that. Like, if you grow up as an atheist and believing in science like hardcore, then that's how you're going to perceive the world. You're going to perceive everything as atoms and cells and fucking whatever, But like, if you grow up like religious and like you're in the church and like you're fucking hardcore Christian, then you're going to believe in God and like all this. And so you see, neither of those are true, is what I'm saying, is you're giving your own power away. This is a hard thing to talk about. I don't think I'm making myself that clear. So yeah, authority. Who are you giving your power to? Because you're not an individual. You're part of this collective. You eat the same food as everyone else in this society, and you've got to get the same kind of job and all this. And I guess what I'm saying is that people think this is the real world, that this is reality. But there's more to it. It's just that we're so confined into this little space that we think this is it. I mean, the thing is, you can't even imagine what it would be like to grow up in like some tribe in the Amazon that has no modern society. Like, you grow up just like animals, just like monkeys. There's no like proper society, and like, just like hunter-gatherer times, like working shit out for yourself, not piggybacking on anyone else, And this is just what happens. This is just evolution. Is you learn from the previous generations, and then it is piggybacking on and on it goes. Society now is just one big tribe that has just we've discovered fire, and then we give that knowledge onto the next generation, and then they discover something else, then they give knowledge onto the next generation. And where we're at now is just that process. But you see what happens, right? This has been going on for so long, is that we just have pure blind faith in this process, that we just believe everything that has happened before us to be, the truth, to be the right thing, or whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. But you know what I mean? Like, there comes a point where you just kind of go, if this world isn't working for me, then it must not be as advanced as I once thought it was. Like, I've got to start thinking for myself. I've got to start questioning for myself, and not believing in everything people said in the past or whatever. Because it's boring, to think that it's like, oh, science has everything figured out. And even spirituality has everything figured out. That's the biggest trap, really. Spirituality. Once you get into science, it's like, there's something more here. And then you get into spirituality after science. And then it's like, oh, I've cracked the code. But no, you're still piggybacking on so many of other people's ideas. And you have to find out for yourself. Because it doesn't matter what ideas you have. It's about knowing for yourself. You could be like, oh, everything's one. It's all oneness. Everything is perfect. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. Oh, I know this because all the great sages and mystics of the past have said this, and I believe in what they say because I've seen it to some extent. You've seen it to some extent, but to what extent? Have you, for yourself, seen the oneness and the bliss and the perfection and God and whatever? Have you seen that? Or have you just like got an inkling, and then you go searching for it, and then adopt all these beliefs of other people, so you don't actually know for yourself? And this is a big trap with everybody. And spirituality is the biggest trap, because that's like the end game of this shit, right? You get into science and it's like, this is it, and then you go, no, maybe spirituality is it. And that's the biggest trap, to get stuck in spirituality, because it's to break out of the spiritual paradigm. That's when your life starts, because there's nothing after that. You know what I mean? There is no paradigm after that. Spirituality is the program of all programs. It's the very top. It's the peak. So once you get there, You think that's it, but actually what's it is when you fucking fly off all those paradigms and then you're on your own. What do I know to be true? Fuck whatever I read in a book or heard on a fucking TED talk. What do I know to be true? How do I find happiness? Fuck what other people think about happiness and how to get happiness. How do they fucking know? This is my life. My head is on the line here. I'm the one that's gonna die. I'm the one that's living here. I'm the one that's gonna be unhappy or happy. Forget other people, right? It's you. It's just you. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna live? How are you gonna be happy? You've got to find out for yourself. You can't just adopt a concept and a belief, because that's just living in fantasy. It's living in delusion. It's living in a nice fairy tale. But at the end of the day, it's not true, and it's going to catch up with you. So this thing of authority, you've really got to be your own authority. You've really got to pull your power back to you. And this is hard because we've been so brainwashed. And it's like, you've got to start from square one, from the very beginning. From the very, very beginning. What do you know to be true right now? And that's not an easy thing to do, because basically you're saying, okay, my whole life up until this point has been bullshit. Forget it all. I am born now. My life starts now. The beginning is now. And see, no one wants to do that because they want to hold on to their life. They want to hold on to, they think that their life up till now is valuable. That the insights that they've gained, people like collect these insights, collect these spiritual experiences, collect this scientific knowledge, and hold it so dearly to them. But what are you without those? If it's like a choice between you can remain how you are now, like your state of happiness, that can remain right now, and you'll have all your, beliefs about science and spirituality and all this. Or you can have this one where you're in a permanent state of bliss, but you don't know anything. You don't know anything spiritual, anything scientific. You don't have any insights, any mystical experiences. All your beliefs and opinions are going to be taken away from you. Would you choose it? It's this thing that most people would rather be right than happy. Most people value their beliefs about things than their actual state of mind. And that's just a human thing, It's like, why do people get angry? Because they're defending their beliefs. And, people would rather defend their beliefs and be angry than not care about their beliefs and be happy. But you got to realize that one day you're going to fucking be dead and gone. And all those beliefs are going to be dead and gone. They don't mean a thing. Beliefs are bullshit. Beliefs are child's play. And we've got to escape them if we want to be happy, if we want to know truth. See, beliefs are there when you don't want to face the truth. No belief holds within it the truth. So anyway, my storage is about to run out. Thanks for watching. Pull your power back to you. Start questioning for yourself and and not piggybacking on anyone. This is your life. This is your fucking head on the block, on the line, whatever the saying is. You're the one that is going to live. You're the one that's going to be happy. You're the one that's going to die. It's all about you. Forget what other people tell you.